order which created in part the CRRO, the Central Recovery and Reconstruction Office. In fact, Mr. Chairman, I have a copy of that. I ask unanimous consent for it to be added to the record. Governor, I've been told that this bill actually failed in the House and the Senate before the executive order. Is that correct?
What bill?
The one that created the CRRO.
No, there was never a bill in the House and the Senate. What happened, sir, was that the President of the House and Senate wanted some clarification. We made those clarifying statements within the executive order, and we proceeded forward.
So there was no bill in the House or
No,
the
there was
Senate
no
about
bill.
that. All right, but this is executive order.
That is an executive order, correct.
From what I understand in this, in fact, page 5 here actually says that the CRRO will carry out its purposes in such a way as to ensure the most efficient and effective use of the resources available for recovery and to minimize the duplication of recovery work between governmental entities. So in my estimation, what I'm struggling with here, am I correct that the CRRO would be in charge of authorizing all the funds?
No,
How does that work?
They would be in charge of making sure that there is compliance, that we can channel them all together. As you know, with different sets of storm in the past, a lot of the agencies have access to some of these funds, and a lot of the municipalities have access. So what we want to do is we want to channel them all together so that there is some logistical sense of what's going on, number one, and number two, that we make sure that we comply with the federal comments and requests. And number three, based on what we've asked, more controls with the federal government, make sure that we have those controls in place.
So how does this work with the Oversight Board?
How would it work with
The
the oversight?
CRRO versus the Oversight Board?
Well, there is no versus. The Oversight Board has its role. Their role, again, as I've stipulated before, is to make sure that the budget gets balanced, that we get access to the open market, and that they represent us in Title III proceedings. So there is no real conflict. And of course,
It seems to me that the CRRO has a great deal of authority here, and my question is coming to, I mean, here we in Congress, we authorize the Oversight Board to do what it seems as though the CRRO was being asked to do, and I just want to know, can you assure us that the CRRO will be accountable to the Oversight Board?
Why would it be accountable to the Oversight Board?
Well, it's got tons of money coming into it, for one thing.
Understood, but it is there is a.
So who has authority to spend that money? Is it the CRRO or the Oversight Board?
No, the authority will be the government of Puerto Rico with the federal government controls that we're working with the White House.
So this is an entity that has no accountability whatsoever from Congress.
Of course it'll have accountability from Congress. We're asking for those controls, and we're asking for that accountability. What we're saying is that it shouldn't be administered by the Oversight Board.
It seems to me that you're speaking around in circles here. Can the Oversight Board audit the CRRO?
Can anybody will be able to audit? We'll have the structure. What we will be doing is we will be taking the administrative role in that effort with the controls that will be agreed upon with the OMB office.
So the Oversight Board has no administrative control over the money.
That's not the role, sir. That is not the role of the Oversight Board.
All right, but
the judge already said no yesterday.
Okay, so the Oversight Board will have what authority over the CRRO?
The Oversight Board has a role in Puerto Rico, which is to make sure that the budget is balanced, to make sure that the work that is being done to represent Puerto Rico in Title III proceedings with the bondholders carries through, which is very important, and to make sure we get access to the open market. It doesn't have a direct administrative role over this, but let me just state this. We are looking to collaborate with all of the stakeholders in Puerto Rico in all of these efforts.
I'm still somewhat confused. And I know the time's up, but yeah, I look at 90 billion, 100 billion you're asking, and I also look, I mean, the Mars One mission for 16 years, putting a colony on Mars is is the same amount of money.
Sir,
All right,
suggest
time has
controls,
expired.
suggest controls, but don't do
I'm
it
sorry, wait.
in spite of
Mellow out,
the elected
everybody.
government.